All right, so what I want to talk about is, so usually what we do is we always start with the lure first. So we start with the lure, and then usually from there I'll add different types of tactile cues, right? So bed is very simple.
Yeah.
Recall is the one that a lot of people struggle with because they will have one word that can mean 3 different things out in the world. They can go come, that can mean follow me, we're going this way. They can go come, just be around me, or they can go come over here so I can put your collar on. And often what I see as a miscommunication is the dog goes, I have 3 options, so I can pick whichever one. And then if it's not the one you want, we get angry. Okay, so I'm like, you need one picture in your head. It's easy if we use a picture. So 3 pictures that I present to people is, we can do, the dog comes and puts their neck / collar into your hand, so you can just grab them. Or we do a sit front, which is that nice dog comes in right in front of you, sit down. Or we do a middle position. So the middle position, sometimes we can do that together, because there are some dogs who literally, there's something about sitting with their back to whatever is a temptation and maybe even a threat that they can't put their backs to. And I don't
that's fair enough.
I think that's fair, yeah. So if it's a therapy dog and an assistance, well, especially assistance dog, your dog should be able to do the sit front.
Right.
Right, so for an assistance dog, it has to be a sit front, because that does show good nerves and all this sort of stuff anyway. So therapy dogs, I usually will say sit front's the best one, but sometimes with kids and stuff, maybe you give them in the middle, not a problem. Pets, usually some people go, no, I really want the sit front because it looks good. Or other people are like, nah, I just want the dog to put their collar on my hand so I can clip the leash on it. Whatever. So, but that's the 3. You can't have all 3 unless every single one of those has their own command. So you can have all 3, but not with the word come.
Okay.
So if you go come here, oi, whatever. So that's what we do. Okay. And then our heels and our sit, stand, drop.
Yeah. So for the come then, at the moment, I'm using, I use come, and either she just comes back in here.
Sure.
And I'll tie her up or put a lead on or whatever. But it can be just getting her away from there, and I don't necessarily put the lead on her. 9 times out of 10 she'll come back, get what she wants, and then go back to wherever she wants.
And that's my point. So again, you've got different So usually when we are out in the real world, okay, and we're doing our recalls, because you're not going to have a bed everywhere. But the whole idea with our recall is, when we're out in the real world, we'll have a recall, a leave it, and a change in direction cue. So recall for my dog Ziva, where it was that sit front, nice one, was here. If I wanted to go in a different direction, I go this way, or I go like that little whistle and I just turn, or I leave it. That's it. So I have 3 different cues for 3 different things. So if she goes over there and you go come, and then she comes in, and usually you clip her on, and then today you didn't, and then she goes, okay, so there's a second option. Or come, she comes over, grabs the treat and goes back. Why did you call her in the first place? Probably to get her away from it. But if I'm like, leave it, then she'll go, oh, disengage. So I don't want to give people just a recall to use out in the real world. You see where I'm coming from?
So the leave it, because I've actually used leave it out, because when I could see there was something there, instead of saying come here, I've said to her, leave it. I tried it at school, just even with sandwiches, like with something. And she looked at me straight away.
And then you mark that. So she goes,
well, I didn't have anything with me, because
but that's when
doing it.
So if you mark it and then you run away to go get something, she'll follow, because she'll be like, hey, that means I get paid.
So if I still do a yip in there.
Yes, because the yip actually gives you the opportunity not to have something in your hand right now. It just tells you you're getting paid. Do you want it? Come with me, come and get it. And they'll go, oh, by myself, all right then. Especially if you run away and they're like,
and actually I've even done that out here sometimes. There's been something, I don't know, just if I've been experimenting. And I'll say to her, leave it. And I notice that, she's looking at me in the same way,
and that's
as if
the problem.
I was saying come.
That's right, and that's the problem. So that's that generalization part. So which you're doing it, but if you don't reward her for it, she'll go, why am I doing this again?
And it's almost like she's got come and leave it for the other saying.
Correct. So we want to go, no. It's very clear. So I want you to think in colour, okay? So when you're teaching your kids, your well, not you per se, but if you look at this, right, like here are some basic colors. So that's what you start with, right? You start with red, black, green, purple. You don't start with 2 different blues. Okay. That's not very fair. So we start with this, and we quite do this quite clear. And even if we do have that, we usually will ask the kid, what is it? And they'll go, oh, it's blue. Right? That's what we do, right? And that's what you need to think about obedience commands are, is they're very clear. They're not the same. You cannot have a come and a leave it and think it's the same thing. That's what,
so then if
unless I'm
she's out
colorblind.
there